Hello all YouTubers, I am the Weather Dude. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for tuning back into this weather video for July 31st, 2020. Before I get on with today's video, however, it would really be nice if you guys did hit that subscribe button. I really cannot believe that I hit 800 subscribers already, so thank you guys so much. And we're on our way to 900 and eventually, even more exciting, the big 1,000 subscribers. So please don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as ringing the bell notifications so you will not miss my next video. Also, please do watch the whole video because this does help my channel grow significantly. So please do watch the whole video and liking and sharing this video as well. Thank you. Now let's get on with today's video. So I know it's been a little while since I've done an explanation video. This will be the third video in the explanation video series. Obviously, please consider checking the other two videos out if you haven't already after this video. But also check out my other upload for today, my Hurricane Isaiah's coverage. It was a very good coverage video, and I hope you guys do enjoy it. But please consider checking it out after this video. But for today, we're going to be discussing the Richter scale. Obviously, my other two videos in this series, we talked about the Saffir-Simpson hurricane scale and the enhanced Fujita tornado scale, two very well-known scales to track both hurricanes and tornadoes. The Richter scale, as you guys may or may not know, is known for tracking earthquakes, and we're going to be looking at that in today's video. Kind of looking at some pictures for some other earthquakes here and slash tsunamis. We're going to be talking about how earthquakes can also lead to tsunamis, and also again be discussing the Richter scale. So taking a look at the Richter scale, now I like this one because not only does it tell you the scale, but it gives you where some of the most known earthquakes have ranked and some energy equivalents to it. And this is a very exciting graph, so can't wait to show this to you guys. So obviously starting below magnitude level 3, usually it's not felt too much because I honestly, as you can see, it's not really, I would consider below 3 or below 2 or 3 magnitude, I would consider that micro, very, very minor earthquake. Once you get magnitude 3 to 4, this is felt by humans now. This is the minor, and we're going to be looking at some recent earthquakes that are happening now as well. But magnitude 3 to 4 earthquakes here, which is like a minor earthquake, is felt by humans here. We usually actually see 100,000 magnitude 3 earthquakes a year, and we see 12,000 magnitude 4 earthquakes every year. And I actually do remember, I believe it was in February, a few years ago actually, here along the East Coast, we actually had a magnitude 4 earthquake. Alright, and I'm going to be honest with you, I actually didn't know it was an earthquake when I first got it. Lasted about 30 seconds or so for me, but it was, actually the earthquake center was just south, but I still felt it here, and there was a lot of stuff shaking in my experience with a magnitude 4 earthquake. Nothing really, there was really not much damage, but magnitude 4 earthquake stuff, you can't, usually for hurricanes and tornadoes, I always say, be sure to prepare yourself, but earthquake, you can always be prepared, but we can't forecast earthquakes. I know you might have gotten excited if you ever watched the movie San Andreas and from 2015, and it talked about predicting earthquakes. It was a very good movie, but we don't really have the ability to predict earthquakes. We can tell where they occur the most climatologically, but we cannot really predict or exactly, we can't pinpoint where the next earthquake is going to be. But going magnitude 4 to 5, so that's where we see that's considered light earthquake, which is obviously more destructive than minor. We do see some property damage at this level here. That's about the same damage as an average tornado. And we see about 2,000 magnitude 5 earthquakes a year. And actually, I forgot to mention this, we see 1 million magnitude 2 earthquakes every year. Okay? And keep in mind that going back to magnitude 3 earthquake, that's the same as about an Oklahoma City bombing here. And that's about 4,000, that's equivalent, a magnitude 3 earthquake, think about this, is equivalent to 4,000 pounds of explosives. So that is pretty interesting. Now going to magnitude 5 through 6, we see about 200 magnitude 6 earthquakes every single year. Moderate property damage is considered a moderate earthquake. Long Island, New York earthquake, a notable one from 1884, was about a magnitude 5.5. That was equivalent, okay, to over a few dozen million pounds. We're talking about, that was about right in the middle between 4 and 123 million. So that's about, the Long Island earthquake from 1884 was equivalent to about 50 to 60 million pounds of explosives, which is just It's just, I mean, it's exciting to think about. I wouldn't say it's exciting to think about, but it's just kind of like mind-boggling was the word I was looking for. Now once you get up through 6 towards 7, now we're talking about strong earthquake damage, billions of dollars in damage, potentially loss of life here. I mean, not saying someone can't die in a magnitude 5 through 6 earthquake. All right. But that's where the Kobe, Japan earthquake was a magnitude about 6.8, I believe, from 95. Northridge, California earthquake from a year before that, 94. That's the thing about earthquakes; they're very unpredictable as well. That was about a magnitude 6.7. Now these two earthquakes, the Northridge, California earthquake and the Kobe, Japan earthquake, okay, that they were more, I guess you could say, more destructive than the Hiroshima atomic bomb. Okay, and these two earthquakes are the Kobe, Japan, and Northridge, California. Those two earthquakes were equivalent to about potentially a couple billion pounds of explosives. So just to kind of compare that for you guys. Now the San Francisco earthquake from 1906 was a very notable one. Obviously, it's like one of the most famous earthquakes, but we're going to get to an even more famous one as well. This 1906 San Francisco earthquake was more powerful, I guess you could say, than Mount St. Helens. The dot is just above it, and not quite as powerful as the world's largest nuclear test, USSR. Okay, and the San Francisco earthquake from 1906 is equivalent to over or near 100 billion pounds of explosive. Just imagine that. All right. Mount St. Helens too, but that was a very powerful one. So imagine an earthquake more powerful than that. And by the way, we see about 20 magnitude 7 earthquakes every year. We see about 3 magnitude 8 earthquakes every single year. Now don't ask me how you can see less than one of her. I mean, you can see less. Well, really, if theoretically you can't see less than one of her. I mean, it's either 0 or 1. But if we take it and averaging out, we see less than 1 magnitude 9 or 10 earthquake every single year. Well, we have had some. We've had some. Japan was a more notable one from 2011, just about a magnitude 9 earthquake. Alaska, 1964. I'm going to be showing some photographs from some of these as well. 1964 Alaska earthquake was about magnitude 9.1. And then there's Chile from 1960. This one is most memorable here. Trillions, we're talking about 50, 60, I mean, probably close to 100 trillion pounds of explosives here. That's what it's equivalent to in the 1960 Chile earthquake. Just stop and think about that for a second. All right, and by the way, the number of earthquakes per year, this is worldwide, not just for the U.S. This is worldwide earthquakes per year. But that was about I believe that's about a magnitude 9.8. It was very close to a magnitude 10. So looking at some recent earthquakes right now, just kind of from the Weather Channel here, I am going to refresh this tab here. So now that this is refreshed, this is kind of look at the Weather Channel map and some of the recent earthquakes that we have had. Now, for Puerto Rico, it just hasn't been good for you guys. You really don't need to zoom in exactly. But for Puerto Rico, this was, I believe, yes, this was at 5:23 this morning. We had a magnitude 3.15 earthquake. Okay, and come to think, they just had tropical. Well, at the time I believe it was Tropical Storm Isaias, but they just had Hurricane Isaias here. This is about 4 kilometers southeast of Guanica, Puerto Rico here. All right, so this was considered a minor earthquake, still more than 3 magnitude. All right, which is still, again, once you get above 3, it's felt by humans. It's considered a minor earthquake once you get above 3. All right, some other recent earthquakes that we've had here, northern Oklahoma. Now this was a magnitude 2 earthquake, so you could barely feel it. It's like someone would have to go back in time and tell you, hey, there's going to be an earthquake for you to actually notice that it's there. All right, but magnitude 2, it's pretty hard to feel. This is about 5 kilometers southwest of Glencoe, Oklahoma, in the northern central part of Oklahoma. California, look at the gray ones are basically micro ones. These ones happen all the time. Like the micro ones in the gray dots here, you see millions and millions. Probably close to billions, but I'd say millions of them every single year. But the blue ones, once you get to these blue dots here, you could probably feel some of these. Here's one right here, magnitude 2 earthquake near Bodie, California. Okay, and this was also this morning. We actually had one in Greenfield, California, magnitude 2.39. But for some stronger earthquakes, you can go worldwide here. We're talking about here in, I believe this is in western China here. We had a magnitude 4.7 earthquake, which obviously that's close to a 5, so that's either light/moderate, or that was considered light, but it's near a moderate earthquake. This was reported at 7:20 this morning. So earthquakes are happening all the time here, especially in the Ring of Fire. Now there have been some stronger earthquakes as well. All right, for example, near Papua New Guinea here, We're talking about parts of the southern islands, like for example, like I said, just east of Papua New Guinea, near the Solomon Islands. Okay, we have had a magnitude 5.6 earthquake, which is a moderate earthquake, at 6:02 a.m. this morning, which I believe this is all Eastern time. Now near Fiji, we had a magnitude 4.5 earthquake at about 6:50 this morning. So as you guys can see, earthquakes are happening all the time here. Even Hawaii, after Douglas, they had a micro one, which you could probably not feel. And don't ask me where they got this number. A magnitude 1.84000003. Okay, just call it magnitude 1.84. Come on, people. All right, like three millionths of a magnitude. All right, but magnitude 1.84 earthquake was reported about a couple hours ago. And finally, one notable earthquake that we recently had was actually in Peru. I believe in the southern part of Peru, we had a magnitude 5.1 earthquake that was reported at 6 o'clock this morning. So those are some of your recent earthquakes. All right. So let's take a look at how earthquakes cause tsunamis. So first, an underwater earthquake occurs when a plate shifts abruptly and pushes water upward with a tremendous force. Because once an earthquake occurs near the ocean floor, it kind of radiates out of force, but that water could just be pushed on shore here and continue to do so. Usually, we do see some monstrosity waves, but usually the waves are low and they're fast, and there's several waves. They can be moving as fast as 600 miles per hour, which is more than a passenger airline. Like I believe they usually move at about 500 miles an hour, unless you're carried by the jet stream. They can be moving a little bit faster. But as those waves enter the shallower water, keep in mind the ocean floor goes up like this. Okay, so when those waves move, obviously, the deeper the ocean floor, the less the waves are. But then once the ocean floor level goes up, where do the waves have to go? They have to go up, right? So the waves go up with it, and this poor guy's just trying to run away. He's like, I don't want any part of this. All right, but honestly, the waves will continue to build in height. And the wave height increases, and associated with the currents also intensified, and this becomes a threat to life and property. So when we look at some of the earthquakes here, a lot of them haven't occurred over water, thankfully. A lot of them have pretty much been near been on land. There have been some in Alaska too. We've seen some light earthquakes in Alaska, but luckily I haven't seen too many of these occurring over water. Okay, at least the center. I don't know exactly how accurate that is for the center of the earthquake, but this particular earthquake, this moderate one, looks like it's over water. The one near Port Moresby, all right, near the Solomon Islands. So that center is exactly right. That did happen over water, and the island just to your south here, near Solomon Sea, the island just to your south, you guys could be seeing a tsunami. Okay, if you guys haven't seen it already, because this happened about 6 o'clock Eastern this morning. All right, so looking at some of the now, first of all, we're gonna be looking at one of the most well-known earthquakes. Obviously, not the most, but this is the San Francisco 1906 earthquake. As you can see, tons of damage here. We got buildings are just shredded apart. And this is just one picture. We got some smoke in the background here, so some devastating damage from the San Francisco earthquake in 1906. Here's another picture, and this really tells the story here. You can see these buildings are just leveled, all right? We got debris, the debris was flying all over the place. I remember researching, I think actually this earthquake lasted for about a good solid minute, which is long. That's a long amount of time for that earthquake. I believe this actually is another picture from San Francisco 1906 earthquake. As you can see, there's a man sitting there, and you can see that the damage behind him is just absolutely destructive. Like the buildings are just completely toppled over. Remember, this was a magnitude 7.8, 7.9 earthquake. Now, this is a look at one of the. For me, this was the one I kind of found out first about, and this was like one of the most well known besides Chile here. This is and obviously the picture looks clear. Why? Because this is from 2011. This is March 11th, 2011 in Japan. This was a famous earthquake here that, again, as I said earlier in the video, reached a magnitude 9. And as you can see here, the damage is absolutely destructive. We got buildings that are leveled completely. Like, there's only a couple buildings that are still standing somehow, but most of the damage is just absolutely destructive here. It's just very sad to see this damage, right? But you can just see debris was flown all over the place, and you see, I believe this is part of a car. These are parts of cars here that have been either flung around or badly damaged. And here's the famous tsunami that it caused. This picture was one of the first pictures I looked at when I found out about the tsunami. This is just one of the best pictures to look at when you look at the tsunami. Because look at this. It just completely topples over. And I honestly don't know how you could possibly recover from something like this. Thankfully, Japan is sort of a more technologically advanced place. All right. And the people there were very hard to rebuild the place, and you just see it's amazing. It looks like a waterfall, like just like a waterfall, and it was like it looks like it was always like this, right? Because you got a boat back here. It just looks like a waterfall. It could be, and you should be careful. It might have got sucked in there. All right, but that was from March 11th, 2011, in the Japan earthquake. And here, all right. So again, there's a Japan earthquake. I believe this was the 1960 Chile earthquake, I believe. All right, and you can see the damage from this is very destructive as well. As you can see, some other pictures here. All right, but to look at this, I mean, these cars are, I mean, the buildings are just shaken up completely. Like, this was like one of the most destructive earthquakes in history. This was the closest one to get to magnitude 10. Look at this. This looks like it's Photoshop, but it's really not. I mean, we got trees bending this way. We got other trees bending this way. We got rocks just coming up from the ground. All right, so the damage with this earthquake was just absolutely astronomical. And some earthquake safety tips here to finish off the video. If you made it this far, be sure to put in the comments. Maybe put one of the tips that I'm showing here in the comment section, so I know you guys watched the whole video. So some earthquake safety tips here. Definitely want to drop, cover your head, and just hold on for dear life. And some other scenarios. If you're in bed, stay in your bed, hold on, and protect your head with maybe like a pillow or something very soft, but still durable enough to protect you. If you're outside, stay away from buildings and walls and power poles. Just try to isolate yourself from any objects around you. If you're driving, stop. Do not keep driving because obviously, like a tornado, you really can't outrun a tornado. It's pretty hard to. But you cannot outrun an earthquake. Once it's happening, it's like happening. It's not saying you got 10 minutes to get out. No. Once an earthquake is happening, stop. Where it's safe, turn on those hazard lights, and stay in your vehicle. Okay, I know that sounds very like deceiving because you wouldn't want to stay in your vehicle. I get that, but just park somewhere safe. If you're in your wheelchair, because I know sadly we do have some elderly people that do need assistance. If there is someone that is in a wheelchair, okay, put the brakes on in a safe place and protect your head. Like in the bed scenario, if you happen to have a pillow with you or something very soft yet durable, definitely cover your head with that. And anywhere, drop, protect your head, and stay safe until the shaking stops. Usually it lasts about 30 seconds to a minute, maybe a couple minutes at most. All right, usually about a minute or so. So those are your safety tips for your earthquakes. Thank you guys for watching today's video. Don't forget to watch my other video about Hurricane Isaiah's coverage. Thank you guys so much for watching. I am the Weather Dude, signing off. Until next time, catch you guys next video.